गालियां भी थी बहुत कम, एक्चुअली ओटीटी के हिसाब से बहुत कम गालियां।
I was going to go there.
हम तो कुछ भी कर सकते, मेजर्ड गाली दी,
बहुत
मेजर्ड गाली दी, but which is also I think the intent was to always keep that Hindi picture experience. It's almost should look like that you're watching a Hindi commercial film.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what made me very excited कि यार हम 7 एपिसोड में दिखा रहे हैं एक सिंगल स्क्रीन की पिक्चर। बचपन में ऐसा होता है, I wish I knew somebody at that time. Then you used to be little scared at that time. अरे चेक करो लाइसेंस है कि नहीं है? हाँ लाइसेंस है, सर I have license, sir I've come from here and ये वो है। I think yeah would be the OG Singham, Ajay Devgan ji. He has again a very good demeanor to pull it off, whether it's intensity or whether it's action, which is very cool. Maybe as a person or a personality, I find it a very false note if I have to push certain things and pretend to be somebody to get some kind of news out of it. I mean, I came all the way from Delhi to become an actor, and when you are an actor, when people are showing love in such a genuine way, it is extremely satisfying that you can have that impact on them.
Hello everyone, I'm Rudrani and welcome to Zoom Speak Easy. My guest today is right now the talk of the town, the talk of the country. He's back again, being in the uniform and doing it so fabulously. Of course, talking about Sidharth Malhotra. Back in the uniform.
Lovely,
Sidharth.
thank you. I'm happy you like it.
But I want to say.
You have a thing for men in uniform?
Sure.
Do you like?
Of course I do. Of course I do,
Okay,
and I'm
good,
sure
so-
everybody does. Men in uniform.
Everybody does. मतलब generalize कर दिया मैंने।
Bilkul, I'm sure
Achha,
everybody.
okay.
But I definitely do. You know,
Okay.
my parents were in the army.
Oh, really? Achha.
And but more importantly, I feel like men in uniform follow a code of honor, and
Yeah.
they're always mostly very gentlemen like you.
Yes.
Isn't it why you like them as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it comes with a personality, it comes with certain ethics, any uniform, I think, which is what the great part is. And I personally like them because even my grandfather comes from the army. And yes, this is my second time wearing a uniform. First it was the army, now it's the Indian Police Force. So loving it, enjoying it and enjoying that personality and demeanor.
Well, you have to be very honest to me.
Acha.
Are you getting favors now? Freebies from Delhi Police?
Who?
Because you all have done like full Delhi ka Londa police things and stuff?
नहीं, we've not reached that.
anything?
इतनी दोस्ती यारी नहीं हुई। दिल्ली पुलिस is a vast system. हमने अभी तक शो निकाला।
मतलब अगर कुछ मतलब ऐसे एक बार सिग्नल विग्नल तोड़ दिया, I don't think anything happened to you. दिल्ली में तो नहीं होगा।
Abiding by the law, by बचपन में ऐसा होता है, I wish I knew somebody at that time. Then you used to be little scared at that time. अरे चेक करो लाइसेंस है कि नहीं है? हाँ लाइसेंस है, sir I have license, sir I've come from here and ये वो ऐसा।
Yeah, but I can't imagine you. I can't imagine you even as a young child saying जानता नहीं मेरा बाप कौन है, तो वो तो
बिल्कुल नहीं, वो बेचारा बोलता कि नहीं जानता मैं। हाँ तो ऐसा ठीक है, he is a serviceman, so why would you know? So we didn't have that luxury to say that. तो पर जरूरत भी नहीं पड़ी, बच गए as a regular दिल्ली का लौंडा and lived that Delhi life pretty well.
Yeah, but it must have been fun playing that, isn't it? Were you particularly excited because you were playing the Delhi ka Londa as a cop here?
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. This character is from Delhi, just like me, Delhi ka Londa. And it's Mr. Rohit Shetty shooting on Delhi Police for the first time. And we're playing a special unit which deals with terrorism. And we shot in Delhi. So a lot of Dilliness came out in the show. The little Dilli twang also helps जब आप informers से बात कर रहे हो in the heartland of Delhi.
गालियाँ भी दिल से ही दी।
गालियाँ भी बहुत कम, actually OTT के हिसाब से बहुत कम गालियाँ।
I was going to go there.
हम तो कुछ भी कर सकते हैं।
I can literally say that like 6 is I think max.
बड़ा ऐसे
if I think of
measured गाली दी
बहुत
हमने, measured गाली दी, but which is also I think the intent was to always keep that Hindi picture experience. It's almost should look like that you're watching a Hindi commercial film.
Yeah, it is.
And that's what made me very excited कि यार हम 7 एपिसोड में दिखा रहे हैं एक सिंगल स्क्रीन की पिक्चर, तो वो इंटरेस्टिंग था।
I wanted, first of all, before I go on, I must say happy belated birthday, sir.
Thank you.
बाद में happy birthday गाना गा दूंगी.
जी,
But it's been such a good year for you, and I think you've it continues to be. How was your birthday? Tell me.
But it was almost close to working birthday. Even my last birthday, actually my first birthday that I've ever worked on is on the sets of Indian Police Force. रोहित शेट्टी जी ने मुझे जो हमें होली पे काम करवाया, अपने बर्थडेज पे काम करवाया, and it was very interesting because I think there were some date issues, we had to finish certain things and it just came to that. But they were all first for me. But and we had very important scenes like episode number 3 में एक sequence है which I had to interrogate this one person after this massive action piece. and it's a one shot that the car goes in and opens the jail and bata,
Correct.
very aggressive. That we shot on Holi last year.
That is where you also give gali, because I've seen the show. I know.
Yeah, correct. So measured gali krucha.
Measured gali, measured
But
gali.
yeah, we didn't go. We kept the Hindi film tone, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It was also liberating for me first time to actually abuse on in a
right.
scene. And I think it was done correctly. It was not forced.
I know you're awkward with it as well. Like, you were very natural in the show, but I'm like, as a person, you're not the person who will be like,
Yeah, but now I
"Hello,
think
gentleman."
very few in that sense. Correct, but it was very interesting कि हमने जितना हम कर सकते थे उतना नहीं किया.
Ji, bilkul. And but from Galia, we're going to go to Angry Young Man. I remember you, a very different kind of angry young man you've played in your different in your careers in different film. Jaise, you know, in Kapoor and Sons, you were also a little bit of an angry young man. You were frustrated with different things.
वो child है. I think angry young child.
Angry young child.
उसमें man तो कम था वो.
And then another film that I thought you were not angry, but you know, the one that we love with Pariniti. Usme you feel
Hasi to Pasi you're talking
Hasi to Pasi mein you,
Achha.
I wouldn't say you are angry, but you were, in general, you were this ukhda hua, irritating person who's irritated with life, right? But yahan pe you went all out.
Oh yeah.
Yahan pe, in Indian Police Force, you went all out. You brought out your Mr. Bachchan fan, angry young man, completely on screen. Hai na? Correct analysis.
Absolutely. I think I've, I mean, it's not planned entirely, but I think somewhere it comes through with people you idolize and you watch their cinema a lot and you appreciate, like Mr. Bachchan is a massive, you know, star and performer for many generations. And what I really admire about his performances is, of his earlier days in the 70s, is that, you know, very understated, less is more kind of demeanor and performances, and not that there's any comparison in that sense, but it feels great if somebody, you know, could pick from that and try and use that method. It's very difficult and equally challenging. So yeah, I like that. In my head, referencing comes from sometimes, you know, his films or his characters of that sense, which I could use in Indian Police Force. He's played so many cops himself, and very good ones at that end. So it feels good to take out your inner child and inner audience out while you're performing.
Would you say that's your favorite cop in the cop universe in Bollywood?
Mr. Bachchan playing that? Yeah, of course.
Anybody else?
Of course. I think he's the, I would say, the quintessential first action-oriented cop. उस ज़माने में पहले सारे cops एक तो या तो negative होते थे या तो late आते थे. या तो you used to be doing comedy as well. So he made them very like, you know, his moral compass is very strong and correct, doing action. Correct, and the audio coming in there. So I think it has to be him.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Then of course there have been so many now. Now Mr. Rohit Shetty has like a series of them.
And now you get to be a part of that, and people get to pick from you, saying
Correct.
who are the cops. But anyone from the recent times that you really liked?
I think, yeah, would be the OG Singham, Ajay Devgan ji. He has again a very good demeanor to pull it off, whether it's intensity or whether it's action, which is very cool.
While the idea is to entertain, but it's also emotional. The show, right? You have themes, you're showing about protecting the country, people losing lives and all of that. And a very important storyline is through your character. Kabir is a person who has, along with being an extremely competent police officer, he's a Muslim cop. And people have spoken about how that can be an issue, right? Like you're looked with prejudice. And here, at a point, you know, people are often questioned that, you know, on social media and stuff like that also, right? When you hear stories, people have prejudices against it. I think that is brought out beautiful through your character, because a lot of times there are moments there when you go out there and you say, you know, but at the end, I will always be faithful to my country and nothing else matters. My surname doesn't matter. Tell me why that was important for you as well, because, you know, I think it was a very important part of the storyline without giving away too much.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's what was so interesting about this character. It had that one shade of dealing with people who are radicalized and dealing with terrorists who obviously are not, you know, seen. The whole process is to find who these people are. And during that process, you interact with people who are doing all of these notorious things and extremely dangerous things. And when they try to radicalize that and justify it in any kind of religious form, that's why the character, you know, comes in with full force and aggression that, you know, what the F are you talking about?
Who are you
This is
preaching to?
not exactly. And then if it was, then there would not be officers of. It's actually very subtly the whole process. By the end of the episode, that he really gives that monologue and talks to that character and says that how idiotic this is and how people get radicalized by these fictitious words and promises
In the name of religion.
in the name of religion. So I thought there was a very interesting shade to the character.
Yeah.
I thought it gives so much depth to what possibly has happened in the past, what possibly India's experience maybe in different agencies and areas where people try to take advantage of that by dividing people because we have such an amazing population of all different cultures.
Yeah.
I think it's important to sometimes underline that it's not that. It's always motivated by either money or a personal vendetta. It's never about, at least whatever I've read and I've heard from people, that it's pretty much more the politics behind, even from that side, than of trying to talk about and fight for a particular cause.
Yeah.
So that we dive into with this series as well. It gave me some very interesting dialogues to say.
Yeah.
Which I liked in those monologues.
I really liked it.
So I'm happy that it's connecting with people and people are appreciating it.
No, 100%. And another interesting aspect and very important aspect is हम बात करते हैं ना कि the amount of death that people in uniform have to deal with in your personal life, when on duty, and even in your personal life. I mean, he's a absolute green. He might be an angry young man otherwise.
So on this point, when we were in Delhi promoting Indian Police Force, we had the honor to do the main function at the Police Memorial.
I saw that.
So which, being a Delhi boy, it was growing up. It wasn't there.
Yeah.
It's just recently built, which I think is great for us to realize as citizens that I think approximately 3,000 or 30,000, I might be wrong about the numbers of lives, have been lost over the years, and within a span of a year, there's so many of our police officers lose their lives, whether they're protecting citizens, whether they're fighting terrorism, or whether it's just an unfortunate accident where they're trying to rescue someone.
Yeah.
So I think that point of view is also important to come through, that to not have that typecast prejudice against all cops being a certain way.
Yeah.
I found that interesting. I found that very important to come out as well. And that's what even our story deals with, in a very filmy way, of course, but it's in that Hindi film drama that you try to make people feel the loss of your fellow service officers.
And also dealing with loss when you're a husband and you lost your wife and you're trying to still do duty. He's extremely aware of it, of what he's going through, but he's trying to work and he wants to work, only be there, right? And it's difficult. When you do such roles, how do you think about how you would have dealt with that pain?
I mean, yeah, I think in every profession, one, especially in terms of performance as well, not that they're in any way similar, doing duty in a uniform and acting.
Not equating at all.
Not equating at all. I think that's not fair. But of course, I think when I read such scripts and stories and want to portray such heroes, I find it always interesting that I get to play somebody, in Sher Shah's case, he was a living person, that I was telling his life story. Now in Indian Police Force, it is a force or incidents which have happened historically in our country, protocols that today people would follow. So there could be a version of this Kabir Malik in real life, possibly. I find that reality versus real very interesting because it's not completely fictitious, it's not completely real as well. It's somewhere in the middle. That's how films should be. कि थोड़ा आपको दुनिया के बारे में दिखाए और थोड़ा कुछ एक magical दुनिया में भी ले जाए.
बिल्कुल.
So that's what the show and this character has, a combination of both, where he's doing extremely heroic things and yet he could be relatable and a IPS officer somewhere in the in this country. And I enjoyed that combination really well. I thought कि eventually hero है, हम hero बनने आए थे और अभी हीरोगिरी कर रहे हैं, so it's always fun.
But like I said, you mentioned Sher Shah, and I was saying that everybody still is hoping that there'll be more on-screen love stories for you like that with the same pair. And there was also a story that it will happen. Is it true? Because then it'll be awesome. I think because the chemistry that you created was so beautiful.
It's love stories are always on the card. I think for me, with even songs, love songs have always done well. It's something that I think has given me that interesting repertoire of like songs or
There's one
music or
here.
albums. And yeah, it's on the cards. Maybe if we find the right story, the right director, we will definitely come back.